artifacts. Something that looked to be somewhat interesting to the development of D2, but at this point they've definitely outstayed their welcome in terms of the power level and the consistent revolving door of mods. That can just be slightly changed, but dear lord. Artifacts were first introduced back in Shadowkeep, which is coming up on 2 years since release, but the infinite power through the artifact was originally supposed to be a system that Bungie was testing. Seems like that's just how it's going to be. The biggest issue is that after 2 years there's been no change to the artifact power grind. At this point in the game's lifespan, the only use for the artifact is just to allow Bungie to time gate content to reach a certain level, which for many players they won't even come close to the amount of power needed to reach the end game content. Meaning the power requirements might be a little too high for most players. Definitely is for me for sure. I think the best way that this can be expanded upon is only allowing maybe 10 levels to be earned via artifact. Similar to how each season gets an increase of 10 for the light level itself. The main reason for this is because it would allow endgame content to stay difficult. For instance, once a player gets the recommended level for Master Vault of Glass, then the activity gets easier. But in my opinion, endgame content should stay difficult. Which is what was really nice about, for instance, Crota's End on Heroic Mode, is that it was always at least 1 or 2 levels higher than what you could get. But for this video, I mainly would like to focus on the mods aspect of the artifact. The main idea behind artifact mods is that if a mod is an outlier and is more powerful than others, Bungie does not have to worry about nerfing it since it will only be in the game a couple months, which definitely allows employees time to focus on new content. But I think it is time for a change on that. The main change I would like to see is for mods to stay in the game after the respective season ends. The reason behind that is because the majority of the player base spends a decent amount of time putting together a build for specific mods, and after the season ends, that build is pretty much useless. I get that Bungie wants players to have an exciting change of gameplay, but one of the biggest things that they said when they split from Activision was for players to be able to play how they want. And removing mods does not let players play how they want, and more of how Bungie wants players to play. Obviously, this means mods would need to be nerfed occasionally, looking at you, Breach and Loader. But I think it'd be received well since players are able to keep their builds, and we're going to see more interesting builds develop over time as mods can be paired with one another from previous seasons. The next part ties into the let players play how they want to, and that's champion mods. They should not even exist within the artifact anymore. It should just be a standard mod that can be equipped for any weapon for any champion. I would be okay with keeping the more unique champion mods in the artifact, such as like Stun Overload with an Arc Grenade, or Stun the Unstoppable with a Solar Melee, because it adds to the builds, but like keep that as like an unlock side of things. But I should not have to adjust how I play each season just due to limited champion mods for weapons. And sometimes I choose to struggle, I just choose to struggle without one just to use the weapon that I like and that I prefer. But I would also like to see more weapons to be able to deal with champions. For the most part, only primary weapons, and then as well as snipers and grenade launchers at this point have been able to. I would love to see shotguns, rocket launchers, machine guns, and yes, even both fusion and linear fusion rifles for the small amount of the community that uses fusions in PvE to be relevant in that content. Allow me to use a shotgun to stun an unstoppable. It's gonna make gameplay a little bit more interesting, but that's what's nice, is staying on that let people play how they want to play. As far as other mods, I would like to see some sort of, not necessarily a change to it, but some sort of way that maybe mods don't take up as much room. Like, for instance, Breach and Loader. We'll stick on that. It is a 9 energy slot mod, which is insane. So you can't really use anything else with it. So maybe keep it that way. And then once the season ends, they can nerf that mod and maybe make it a 5 energy mod. Like, let them be strong in their seasons. I don't mind that. Then after that, they can nerf it when the next artifact rolls around. But I want to have mods stick so badly. Especially right now, I got a really, really fun build with Controverse, Holds, Top Tree Nova Bomb, and the like energy accelerant mod from this season. Like constant grenades, for the most part, over and over and over again. And I find that fun. But next season, I'll have to completely pretty much destroy that build and try to find something else that can somewhat replicate that. And yeah, I know that there's ways to do it on other characters, but I'm a Warlock main. What am I going to do? But that's pretty much all I have for today's video. Make sure to comment if you'd like to see some changes happen, and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications about new Destiny content. I will see you all in the next video. Stay safe, Guardians.